Now on the Valley today, back to her roots. Brittany Griner is hitting the courts after her time in a Russian prison. Plus, law enforcement agencies around the country brace for a rise in hate crimes after neo-Nazi groups dedicate a day for anti-Semitism. Also ahead this morning, college students making the most of winter weather out on the lake, riding that wave. Plus, Lisa Green is in with a check of your forecast as we start out bitterly cold. Wouldn't recommend hitting the water today. She has your forecast on this Friday, February 24th, 2023. The Valley Today starts right now.
This is the Valley Today on Fargo CW.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for waking up with us on this Friday morning. Just 2 minutes past the top of the 7 o'clock hour. I'm Jordan Schreier. We are digging out after that winter blast, and it is going to be a cold one out there. To see just how much snow we're moving today, let's head on over to Lisa Green.
Good morning. Yeah, some of us got into double digits from our most recent event. Of course, this is on top of the other 2 rounds of snow that moved through earlier this week. Browns Valley, the highest number in the area. We're looking at a little over 10 inches of snow in Traverse County, Sisseton, the Victor area, Roberts County here just over the state line at 9 inches of snow. And Ashby in Minnesota, we had about 6 inches of snow. Hoffman not too far away at 5. And in Wahpeton, Breckenridge, a little over 4. And Fargo didn't really get that much. We ended up with 1 to 2 inches of snow. We talked about that, how there'd be a steep drop off from the heavy snowfall that was not going to be directly hitting us, and then where we would see none at all, and that was in the Northern Valley. And Fargo ended up being on the lower end. Imagine not too many people complaining about that because we're still dealing with the blowing and drifting going on and still had blizzard conditions yesterday. Here's a look at our current conditions. We have clear skies in the valley, some clouds to the south, along with a few flakes there. So not adding any more snow to the mix right now. And the real issue that we're dealing with is the wind chill. Wind chill advisory in effect for everybody here until 10 a.m. We're going to be experiencing some wind chills, 30s, 40s below where we have the wind. And right now, here's a look at some of our wind chill reports coming in. Harvey, 45 below. Langdon, 44 below zero. Gwinner and Oaks in that 40 below range. And Hallock also as well. Some of us don't have any wind, and so our wind chill is the same as our temperature, like in Fargo, where our temperature is 21 below. So again, conditions just depend on whether we have even a little bit of a light breeze, but it's frigid everywhere. Let's look at that. Again, 21 below in Fargo. Wind not strong enough to set off that wind chill factor here. We're at about 3 miles per hour. That's it out of the southwest. It's a little variable here around the valley if we do have wind. And temperatures, again, teens and 20s below. Devil's Lake checking in at 23 below. That's the live view we've got behind our graphics here. A nice pretty shot of that sunrise. And it's 18 below in Detroit Lakes right now. So here's a look at our planner. We can expect to see temperatures on the rise. We're going from 21 below right now to 2 below by this afternoon. So that's almost a 20-degree temperature rise. Not bad. We're warming up. It's just we're so cold. We're still stuck below zero for a high today. We'll have some sunshine throughout much of the morning, even into the afternoon, but eventually more clouds do move in, and I can't rule out a flurry with that for tonight, but that would be about it. We're going to get more into details on that and take a look at your weekend planner coming up.
20 degrees higher, but yet still that cold.
That tells you just how frigid we are this time of year.
Yeah, it really does. Okay, Lisa, thank you for keeping us updated. And we want to keep you updated on the roads out there in your road report here this morning. Good news for you right now. The interstates, they are open throughout the entire state of North Dakota and Minnesota. So if you have to travel on them, that is some good news for you. We want to take a look at what the travel conditions are going to be like, though. So right up around here where my hand is, that's Fargo, Moorhead. The interstates there showing up as seasonal. However, I know they're a little slick out there still, so watch out. More towards the Wahpeton exit along I-29 as we head into South Dakota, partial snow coverage. Taking a look at I-94 around Valley City, east and west on the interstate, we're dealing with some partial snow coverage there. And then every single county below that I-29 line, Richland, Ransom, Sargent, and along with Dickey, Lemoore, and then Logan and McIntosh, and then a little bit farther to the west in Emmons County, they're dealing with a bit of snow on the road as well. Going up to the north, I-29, this green line on the side, we like to see that. That's good news. Plows have been out there. However, around Cooperstown, Devil's Lake, they're still dealing with a bit of snow on the road there. And that continues as we go up to Langdon, Cavalier, more toward the Canadian border. They also need to watch out for some snowy roads. Our Minnesota check of the map will start up more toward the north with Roseau going down to Thief River Falls, even then all the way down to Detroit Lakes. Green, seasonal conditions on the roads there. Big change from the day before. I-94 from Moorhead All the way down to the Twin Cities, seasonal conditions the entire way. Highway 10, seasonal conditions the whole way. Now, I should say seasonal conditions doesn't mean that you can be going 75 with your cruise control on. You still need to watch out for some patchy ice and some patchy snow because we know seasonal in the winter means that can still be on the road. But you can stay up to date with these changing conditions all day long with the VNL Weather app. Just scroll down and click on the road conditions tile. In other news this morning, one man is in jail after allegedly making violent threats toward his wife and son while holding a kitchen knife. Fargo police say it happened on Saturday. Two teenage boys called 911 saying they had barricaded themselves in a bedroom after their stepfather had made threats to one of the boys and to their mother. That man was reportedly intoxicated and brandishing a large kitchen knife. Officers set up a perimeter around that home, and they eventually got that man to come outside. He's 45-year-old Seth Jastrom. He was arrested for 2 counts of terrorizing. A judge has now set bail at $1.5 million cash yesterday for the man accused of shooting and killing another man in Cheyenne, North Dakota earlier this week. Nicholas Poitras was the center of a 3-day manhunt after that shooting at Rindy's Cheyenne bar on February 19th. He was arrested 2 days ago after being spotted by a local farmer. Poitras now faces 11 felony charges in Eddy County, including murder, robbery, weapons violations, and 7 counts of terrorizing. One Minnesota family didn't have the option to wait for those plows to come through yesterday, and as WCCO's Jonah Kaplan shares, they had to make it to the hospital.
You heard it all week from city, county, state officials. They keep the highways, the main roads clear so emergency vehicles, first responders can get to where they're going. Well, here is where they're going, and it's great when there's good news. Happy birthday, Hudson Dean Troutman. You're a born and will be raised Minnesotan, and boy, did you get a Minnesota welcome.
I remember the first stop sign right outside our house. I skidded through it coming to the hospital. So
for me, I said, what better thing to do in a storm than have a baby?
Micah and Adam Troutman's doctors scheduled the induction last week for the evening of February 22nd. They claimed they packed accordingly, not knowing when it might be safe to get home.
My mother claims it looked like we were moving into the hospital.
And the snacks up there, I mean, snacks, you had to have snacks for probably a week.
Owatonna Hospital, of course, having its own pre-storm prep, and it proved critical with Hudson's healthy delivery via emergency C-section. Administrators crediting more than just doctors and nurses for the entire health system never missing a beat, including maintenance, facilities, housekeeping, and nutrition.
All of those people that helped to make the hospital run are all on point and needed desperately through as we go through this storm.
It all came together in the exact right way. And for him to be born in the middle of a snowstorm will always be like one of those memories we'll look back on.
Hudson, actually one of 3 babies born here at Owatonna Hospital during the storm. We wish them and their parents much calmer days and nights ahead. Jonah Kaplan, WCCO4 News.
Now, many nurses say seeing a new life brought into the world in those crazy winter conditions was a highlight of their day, highlight of our morning here. Ahead on the Valley today, we are getting a look at the Home and Garden Show at the Fargo Dome with inspiration for when spring will finally be here. While we just made it through a snowstorm, some may be ready to look ahead to spring. And the 61st annual Red River Valley Home and Garden Show is giving that taste of spring and a way to help get your home ready for some potential renovations. That's where we find the Valley Today's Nishay Taylor live at the Fargo Dome this morning. And Nishay, it seems like you're surrounded by lots of inspiration there.
Yeah, good morning, Jordan. Not only will you get inspiration for home renovations, but you'll also get to have a little bit of fun. And one thing that's happening here is that Broadway Square is being brought to the Home and Garden Show. How fun is that? So right now joining me is Anna. She is the Broadway Square manager. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about this collaboration with the Home and Garden Show.
Yeah, so it was an honor to be asked to bring a little bit of Broadway Square here to the Home and Garden Show. We wanted to really give a sampling of our summer programming and especially with this weather, just remind people what summer and even spring in the Fargo Parks and at Broadway Square is all about and why we live here.
Okay, so talk a little bit about some of that programming that'll be happening this spring and summer.
Sure. So tonight we are going to be doing a sampling of our Music at the Square program. So we'll be doing Music at the Square tonight from 7 to 9. Tomorrow we are doing Wellness at the Square from 11 to 1 with Courts Plus, Downtown Yoga, Fargo, and the YMCA. And then Gaming Day in the afternoon. Sunday we're doing our Chalk Festival, and then also Movies at the Square with a showing of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
All right, well, that sounds like a lot of fun, you know, to even bring it here to the Home and Garden Show. So, Jordan, I'm sure you can see us in, what did you call these, spinner chairs?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if folks have had their share of doing them down at Broadway Square, but if not, you can come here and check it out. Reporting live at the Fargo Dome, I'm Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
Yeah, they are the iconic Broadway Square chairs. Everyone thinks of them every time they're there. So, Nishay, spinning out for us this morning here. Thank you. Straight ahead on the Valley today, Lisa Green is in with a check of your forecast. Hey, one bright spot, we mean that literally, the sun. You actually see it today. Not very warm out, though. Lisa lets us know how cold we stay.
Good morning, happy Friday, and how pretty is this? We've got that sun peeking over the horizon as we speak this morning, looking off to the east now. It's rising farther and farther north, meaning that we are inching our way towards spring and eventually the summer season. Of course, that's a little bit of a ways away, and it's going to feel like that this morning because of our temperatures being so low, but it's just nice to see earlier and earlier, and we get to enjoy that sunrise this morning, thanks to clearing that happened after our storm system moved on. You Here's a look at our travel planner here for today. You can see that we've got yellow caution lights for you through the morning hours. That's because, one, the dangerous cold that's in place here affecting us, but also there are those drifts still left over in spots that you may be running into. Cleanup still needs to continue here this morning and through the day. I'm sure we'll take some time to clear up some of those places that got the snow, the heavier snow, and of course the drifting that happened with our latest round. So it is cold. You are going to want to make sure you're dressing in your full winter weather gear today. Temperatures in the 20s below pretty much throughout eastern North Dakota. We're at 27 below in Langdon and in Harvey. Fargo's at 21 below. It's 22 below right now in Grand Forks. Over to the east, well, a little milder, but still in the teens and 20s below to start off today. Let's talk about wind chills. Most of us in northwest Minnesota don't really have any wind, so wind chill isn't as much of a factor. Once even just a little wind sets in, though, we're looking at a wind chill in Hallock to 42 below, 44 below in Langdon and Harvey again, and it feels like 42 below in Gwinner. So dangerous cold and even a little wind will really set those temperatures feeling more like they're half of where they are. So we're talking, or doubly cold from where they are. So 20s below to 40s below when we factor in even just a little bit of wind here. And no wind speed coming in above 10 miles per hour. So it's very light. In fact, a lot of calm reports again as we take a look at that map. Here's a look at our latest radar and satellite map. Clear, quiet, beautiful sun. Eventually, though, you see this movement here. We've got a little cloud cover down into South Dakota that's moving to the northeast. It could bring in by the afternoon and evening a flake or two. You can see some of those down by Sioux Falls. I can't rule it out, but you can see even in this view of the radar this morning, it isn't looking all that impressive. Let's show you that here in our hour-by-hour planner. As we make our way through the morning, by 9 a.m., the sun will have been up a little bit, so temperatures will be starting their turnaround. Not a big rush to warm up, though, here with that fresh snow that helps to keep us cooler. And we're looking at some numbers back into the single digits above and below zero by noon. Those of us in the east had the best chance of climbing above zero today, but you can see a lot of us 3 o'clock right around zero or less, especially in eastern North Dakota this afternoon. This is also when the clouds will start building in a little bit more, and we'll see that potential for a light flake, a little bit of flurry activity to a very light snow shower that might just create a thin coating as we move into the nighttime hours tonight. You can see it's more likely south and east, but really it is going to be more on the dry side and the quiet side today. We moved ahead now into Saturday morning. You can see temperatures still cold, still below zero to start off Saturday, but nowhere near as intensely cold as this morning. So it's just going to be gradual as we climb our way out of this frigid air. So Saturday back to about 10 degrees for your high and some sunshine. That'll be nice too. And then into Sunday, mid-20s, right around average. We're looking at our next chance for precip moving Sunday night and into Monday morning. Most of the day Sunday, though, should be pretty nice. So good weekend ahead. And then the rest of the planner here over the next 11 days looks much milder, a little more active, but much milder as we head into March.
Okay, we like to see those numbers without the negative sign in front of them.
Yeah, and that will be happening. You know, next couple of days, still pretty cold, but we'll get there.
Work our way to it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. 7:19 right now. Up after the break, details on the Pentagon's investigation into a data leak after copies of classified emails were found online. The Pentagon is investigating an internal email leak. It's working to find out how a trove of internal U.S. Special Operations Command emails leaked for 2 weeks without the military's knowledge about it, and why the problem was not found sooner. The investigation follows an independent cybersecurity researcher's discovery of 3 terabytes of Department of Defense unclassified emails dating back to February 8th. They were all found on the internet.
There's a difference between free speech and hate speech. This is going well over the line to put out banners belittling, an identity group, in this case, Jews. It's really unacceptable.
This weekend, law enforcement is increasing visible security around Jewish institutions after getting information that Saturday, February 25th, tomorrow, is deemed a day of hate by neo-Nazi groups. Law enforcement and leaders in the Jewish community say they're taking the threat seriously, especially in the wake of the rise in anti-Semitic incidents across the country and on social media. Many Jewish facilities and houses of worship have upped their security, some spending millions annually to build up their resources. Today is the one-year anniversary since Russia started its unprovoked offensive on Ukraine. The U.S. has been lending assistance to the Ukrainian resistance since this war started. Yesterday, the UN General Assembly approved a resolution that condemns the Russian invasion, calling for the withdrawal of troops from Russia. 141 votes were in favor, 7 were against, and there were 32 abstentions. China is among the abstentions. They released a 12-point document today that calls for ending the war and presumptions of peace talks. In an interview with CNN, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says Russia's war in Ukraine will likely end, quote, with some sort of negotiation. 7 people, including 5 teens and a 2-year-old girl, were found wounded last night in a shooting near a school in Philadelphia. That's according to police. The 2-year-old was listed in stable condition at a hospital. She was hit in the thigh. 5 teenage boys and a 31-year-old woman were also hurt and hospitalized. A motive was not immediately known, and there have been no arrests. Ahead on the Valley today, 2 sons calling police on their father after a scary incident at home. We have details on what happened. Plus, Lisa Green is in with a quick check of that forecast. .26, welcome back to the Valley today. One man is in jail after allegedly making violent threats toward his wife and son while holding a kitchen knife. Fargo police say it happened on Saturday. 2 teenage boys called 911 saying they had barricaded themselves in a bedroom after their stepfather had made threats to one of the boys and their mother. The man was reportedly intoxicating and brandishing a large kitchen knife. Officers set up a perimeter around the home and eventually got the man to come out. He's 45-year-old Seth Jastrom. He was arrested on 2 counts of terrorizing. Let's now get a check of your Friday forecast with meteorologist Lisa Green.
Well, good morning. Check out this gorgeous sunrise behind me here. This is in Fargo. Nice blue sky and sunny conditions here to start off the day. That's the good news. No blowing snow, no low visibility, but it is very cold out there. Check out these temperatures. 21 below in Fargo, 22 below zero in Grand Forks, Jamestown, Bemidji, Detroit Lakes, all checking in the 20s below to start off the day. And that's not even factoring in places where we have wind. It's pretty quiet. A lot of places reporting calm conditions. But once you get a wind speed of 5 miles per hour or more, suddenly we've got wind chills in the 40s below in spots Hallock, Langdon, back to Harvey and Gwinner in the 40s below. And we do have a wind chill advisory in effect until 10 o'clock this morning to cover that and let you know that it is going to be dangerous out there. And you'll want to dress for the cold here, not only this morning, but through the day. Here's our planner on our VNL weather app. Expect to have temperatures slowly rising by the afternoon. It's a struggle, but we get towards zero. Some of us a degree or two above. Some of us stay below zero all day. Increasing clouds. I can't rule out a flurry today in the afternoon hours, but overall pretty quiet. And this weekend, gradually warming back to the 20s on Sunday.
Thank you, Lisa. More local news and weather after this on the CW. It's another setback for Gigi's Playhouse in Fargo. There was a sprinkler break that caused a significant amount of water damage. The Down Syndrome Achievement Center has a brand new facility after a devastating fire in May of 2021. They say they are working on a plan to get families back in the door for programs as soon as possible. Lawmakers in Washington are now paying more attention to illegal immigration at the northern border. North Dakota Senator John Hoeven says he met with Border Patrol recently, including the chief of the Grand Forks sector, to discuss the need for additional resources. Hoeven says illegal crossings along the northern border have increased more than 300% in 1 year, and he's now calling for more help.
Also resources like the mobile towers, the sensors, working in coordination with our Canadian friends, and the aviation assets as well that we have here.
Many Border Patrol agents who were assigned to the southern border have since returned to the northern one, though the number of crossings and the number of agents are still much higher to the south. A sexual assault can kickstart a lengthy and painful process for victims. They have to decide whether to make a report and submit to a medical examination. Then there is waiting for the evidence to be processed, along with the legal battles, which can take years to resolve. Erica Craven takes us through 4 bills in the legislature that could impact both the victim and the state crime lab.
It was hard.
Over the past 2 months, Sydney Dollinger and other survivors of sexual assault spoke to lawmakers on what it's like moving a rape case through North Dakota's court system.
The criminal process took so long. It took 2.5 years, putting me outside the statute of limitations to sue civilly.
State senators ultimately decided to pass a bill that allows more time for sexual assault victims to file civil lawsuits. It would give kids younger than 15 21 years to file suit starting when they turn 15. 15 to 17-year-olds have 21 years, and adult victims have 9 years. That bill now moves to the House, a similar bill that would give sexual assault survivors more time to get mental health help passed the House and is in the Senate.
Crime Lab.
Meanwhile, lawmakers also discussed bills related to the state crime lab. The lab is critical to prosecution because it processes evidence, including evidence collected in rape cases.
And we have backlogs. This is a years in the making problem.
Among other evidence and tests, the lab is roughly 3 years behind on testing rape kits.
2 ayes, 44 nays.
State senators killed a bill that would have allowed BCI to oversee the state crime lab, but pushed through an amended budget for the North Dakota Attorney General's office.
Studies show that 1 in 5 American women are sexually assaulted. However, the majority of those cases are never reported. Researchers say only around 2% of reports are false, but for every 100 rape reports, only 18 of them result in an arrest. It is now 7:32 on this Friday morning. Let's get a check of your forecast out there. Lisa, waking up to some cold weather.
That's right. You know, it's quieted down since the very active week we've been through on this Friday morning, but it is cold to go with that quiet down. We've got a wind chill advisory in effect for everybody this morning and beyond until 10 o'clock. Here's a look at our wind chill reports. We are, some of us, not experiencing any wind, so our air temperature is the same as our wind chill. Fargo, one of those spots at 21 below, but you can tell where the wind happens to be. We're looking at a 42 below wind chill in Gwinner. It feels like 44 below in Langdon, 42 below wind chill in Howell. So some of those places really getting into that bottom of the barrel kind of wind chill temperatures here. And it's pretty, it's nice and sunny out, but again, it is frigid. Here's a look at our air temperatures and our current conditions as far as the wind is concerned and sky cover. You can see a lot of us enjoying some sunny skies now that the sun is up. And again, Fargo 21 below, it's 22 below in Grand Forks, and everybody here reporting at least 20 below and a very light wind or even calm conditions. Here's a look at your radar. Satellite map, nice and quiet. There are some clouds to the south. You can even see a little bit of light snow over by Sioux Falls. And as this lifts to the north and east, there is a possibility we could see a few flakes with those clouds heading into the afternoon. But overall, today is looking fairly quiet and we'll be warming. It's just going to be a struggle to warm up. So a high of about 2 below with those afternoon and evening clouds and that chance for a flurry or two. And as we work our way through the day, it's just kind of a gradual warm up. So by noon, about 8 below in Fargo, still enjoying some sunshine, more clouds into the afternoon, and again that high of about 2 below. So that's as warm as we go. Chances for snow as we head into the weekend and beyond. Well, today again, that chance for just a few flakes. We're on that isolated side, southern end of the valley especially. Saturday looks nice and quiet, and during the day, Sunday looks pretty good. But Sunday night and into Monday, that'll be our next chance for some snow. There might even be a little mix in there, and that's because our temperatures are going to be warming over the weekend and into next week as we transition from February into March. So some signs of some springtime weather coming our way and springtime conditions, but we still have snow chances in the forecast. We'll get into more details on that and take a more in-depth look at the weekend as well coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Okay, a lot of folks really wanting to warm up here, Lisa. It is cold out there right now.
Yeah, and we are so cold. It really is going to take some time to work our way out of this, but little by little, we're on our way up.
Okay, slow and steady.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is now 7:35. Let's get a check of your road report out there. That snow, thankfully, all moved through. Travel still not perfect, but definitely improved from where we were yesterday. Let's take a look at our maps right now. All interstates open. That's good news. So if you need to take one of those, you can get where you need to go. Right now in Fargo on both interstates, they're reporting seasonal conditions with those green lines. However, we have a crash that just popped up. 25th Street exit in Fargo on I-94. It looks like there is a crash that just happened there. So we're going to have to watch out for that. So even in seasonal conditions in the winter, crashes still happen. It is still slick out there. Taking I-29 to the south, when you go down onto the Wahpeton exit, you're going to be dealing with a little bit of snow there. Around Valley City on I-94 as well, you're dealing with some snow. And then all of the counties south of I-94 in North Dakota, they're dealing with either snow or or ice, so you need to watch out for that. One good bit of news here in the metro, I just heard 19th Avenue North now reopened to traffic, so that is some great news there for folks who need to take that. I-29 going all the way up to Grand Forks this morning. It's looking seasonal. That's good news. And then Highway 2 to the west of Grand Forks, that's been clearing up as the morning's been going on too. So from when we first came on at 4:30 this morning, the map already looking a lot better. Those plows now getting out, starting to work their way on all of these roads that we have here. Devil's Lake Basin, they're still experiencing a little bit of snow along Highway 2 around that town. In Minnesota here, seasonal conditions, green for nearly every single road in our area. That's some great news. I-94 even from Moorhead all the way down to the Twin Cities this morning. We are with seasonal conditions. Looks like right around Traverse County, though, this morning, we are still dealing with a bit of snow and ice on the road, so those folks need to watch out for it. But the rest of it looking pretty seasonal. This is a pretty standard winter map here in Minnesota, so that's good to see they've taken care of the roads as well. But you can stay updated all day long on your VNL weather app. And speaking of the winter weather, one Owatonna family didn't have the option to wait for the plows to come through their neighborhood. Jonah Kaplan shares why they just had to make it to the hospital.
You heard it all week from city, county, state officials. They keep the highways, the main roads clear so emergency vehicles, first responders can get to where they're going. Well, here is where they're going. And it's great when there's good news. Happy birthday, Hudson Dean Troutman. You're a born and will be raised Minnesotan. And boy, did you get a Minnesota welcome.
I remember the first stop sign right outside our house. I skidded through it coming to the hospital. So
for me, I said, what better thing to do in a storm than have a baby?
Micah and Adam Troutman's doctors scheduled the induction last week for the evening of February 22nd. They claimed they packed accordingly, not knowing when it might be safe to get home.
My mother claims it looked like we were moving into the hospital.
And the snacks up there, I mean, snacks, you had to have snacks for probably a week.
Owatonna Hospital, of course, having its own pre-storm prep, and it proved critical with Hudson's healthy delivery via emergency C-section. Administrators crediting more than just doctors and nurses for the entire health system never missing a beat, including maintenance, facilities, housekeeping, and nutrition.
All of those people that helped to make the hospital run are all on point and needed desperately through as we go through this storm.
It all came together in the exact right way. And for him to be born in the middle of a snowstorm will always be like one of those memories we'll look back on.
Hudson, actually one of 3 babies born here at Owatonna Hospital during the storm. We wish them and their parents much calmer days and nights ahead. Jonah Kaplan, WCCO4 News.
Many nurses said seeing a new life brought into the world, and those wintry conditions were the highlight of their day. A time-lapse showed the winter storm as it hit one Minnesota neighborhood. Now, over the last couple of days, we all lived it. The monster winter storm hit parts of the upper Midwest real hard, and the whole country, really. This footage showed the neighborhood in Forest Lake, Minnesota. It was covered in wind and snow. More than 2,000 flights were canceled, another 15,000 delayed because of that weather. That's according to FlightAware.com. Many roads also left impassable. We had that up here because of Mother Nature. However, we don't want to think about winter any longer, right? We want to think towards spring, and that's what they are doing at the 61st Annual Red River Valley Home and Garden Show, giving us a taste of the outdoors and potential home renovations. That's where we find the Valley Today's Nishay Taylor this morning, live at the Fargo Dome, with what we can expect if we venture out there. Good morning, Nishay.
Good morning, Jordan. Not only will you get specific ideas for home renovations, but you'll also get a taste of what it's like to have some fun here at the Home and Garden Show. Right now is joining me is Anna. She's the manager of the Fargo Broadway Square. Excuse me, I'm having my mind's all jumbled here. Yeah, she's the manager of Broadway Square, and they're bringing Broadway Square right to the Home and Garden Show. So Anna, tell us a little bit about, what people can expect.
Sure. We are bringing a sampling of that Broadway Square programming that you've grown to know and love, hopefully, right here to the Home and Garden Show. So music at the Square, movies at the Square, Chalk Fest, Gaming Day, Wellness at the Square. It's all going to be right here. And yeah, just reminding people who we are and what we do, and hopefully reaching a new audience.
Awesome. So that was going to be my next question, why it's so important to kind of like collaborate with the Home and Garden Show.
Yeah, I mean, Broadway Square is constantly looking for new ways to bring what we do to new members of our community and new segments of our community, and also to tourists. So that's why it's great that we get to be here and show a little bit more of what we do. We're also working to have, for the first time, have postcards and flyers with dates of these events, so you can mark your calendars now and know what's coming. One of our requests has been to have something that's not just digital on a website.
Okay, awesome. Well, you folks better get ready for what's to come at the Broadway Square. Right now, I'm losing my voice here, but we're going to spin out of here, sending it back to you in the studio, Jordan, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
All right, yeah, those chairs are a fun thing, Nishay, thank you. 7:42 right now. On to other news. Lawmakers in Tennessee are battling a political storm over voting to ban gender-affirming care. It's a move that would prevent minors with gender dysphoria from getting medical treatment. Hannah McDonald explains.
These children do not need these medical procedures as children to be able to flourish as adults.
Minors who identify as another gender won't be able to get gender-affirming medical care in Tennessee for much longer.
I-7716 names.
The bill banning the health care for minors is heading to the governor's desk after a final vote in the House. A doctor at the Capitol to listen said the state doesn't need to be legislating medicine.
They've been legislating all kinds of things that are relevant to the field of medicine without being doctors themselves, and a lot of times without speaking to experts in the field that they're legislating, and that's dangerous.
The bill prevents doctors from giving puberty blockers and hormone therapy to trans kids, and it prohibits gender-affirming surgeries.
And in most circumstances, quite frankly, they just need time to develop through adolescence so that they can be the healthy, happy adult that they were designed to be.
Opponents of the bill say it discounts the conversations trans kids and their families are having.
I know how heartbreaking, how difficult these conversations can be, and know how well thought out, how much love is packed into each and every one of these decisions.
According to his office, Governor Bill Lee intends to sign the bill, meaning kids getting gender-affirming care would have to stop by March 2024.
The ban has caused heated debate as many major medical associations agree that gender-affirming care is clinically appropriate for minors and adults with gender dysphoria. Ahead here on the Valley today, we're keeping it cold inside. That's because we're hitting the ice with Devin Fry and a look at hockey.
Eight of our boys hockey teams meeting in the Ralph Engelstad Arena to crown a new state champion. The puck dropping for the state title tournament, starting with the top seed out of the East. The Red River Rough Riders making a much shorter trip to the arena than their opponents, the Jamestown Blue Jays. The East Region champs get the scoring started right off the opening face-off. Just over 30 seconds into the game, Carson Scarperud takes matters into his own hands, weaving through defenders and firing this one down low into the back of the net. Red River off to an extremely early 1-0 lead. Later in the period, period. Luke Vidal snags it in the neutral zone. He's off to the races, dangling it in to light the lamp, doubling that Red River advantage. Down to the final minute of the first period, Vidal passes back to Mikey Coleman. He's the leading scorer in the state for a reason, sniping this one in from a long way out. It's a 3-0 Grand Forks lead at the end of one, and the scoring's just going to keep coming. The Rough Riders advanced to the semifinals with a 7-0 shutout over Jamestown. They scored at least 7 goals in 3 of their 4 postseason games. And to close out the top half of the bracket for this round, it's the Cheyenne Mustangs and Minot Magicians facing off. Neither team able to find the back of the net here as we approach the end of the first. The first shot saved and fired right back by Hudson Routh. A diving save from Blaze Ostrom keeps the Mustangs off the board. Both teams held scoreless through the first 2 frames. Now into the third, it's Routh with another scoring shot, but this one gets launched into the air and over the net. We're still looking for our first goal with about 2 minutes to go. But we're not going to have to wait much longer. Less than 30 seconds left on the clock. Zach Moser fires a rebound shot past the goaltender. The Mustangs grab the lead with just 21 seconds left on the clock. One more empty net goal is going to seal this one. Cheyenne advances with a 2-0 win over the Magic Men from Minot. That's all the time we have for sports right now. Be sure to tune in tonight at 6 and 10 for all your local scores and highlights.
Well, good morning and happy Friday. We have made it through the week, and we're looking at some conditions here that are going to be much better than what we saw yesterday. This is our view from one of our photos sent to us from our viewer around the Gwinner area. You can see this huge area of the snowdrift here in the foreground, and in the background it doesn't look much nicer with the snow going on. This is 2 miles north of Gwinner. Thank you, Barb, for sharing that photo. She also shared another photo of a drift on her porch, and then beyond you can't really see anything during that blizzard as well. Southeastern North Dakota did take the brunt of this storm here with the wind and snowfall combining. Here's a look at our winds right now. Much quieter. We're looking at calm conditions in northwestern parts of Minnesota. We've got wind speeds that are less than 10 miles per hour. So most of us not experiencing much of a wind chill effect, which is good given how cold our temperatures are themselves. But where we do have it, our wind chills are pretty low. So here's a look at wind chills. Again, this also includes areas that have calm conditions. So some places are nowhere near as bad as others. We're at 43 below for your wind chill in Hallock. Check out Langdon, 46 below. Dangerously cold again there. It's been a cold stretch for you guys up in northeastern North Dakota and along the Canadian border. Here's a look at our air temperatures. Everybody pretty much here, teens below 0 to 20s below 0. We are at 27 below in Langdon, 26 below in Valley City, Oaks, Rolla, Harvey, all at that range. And in Crookston, too, 26 below 0. So one of our coldest mornings here. And checking out our radar and satellite map, clear skies, quiet conditions as we are starting off our day. So that's the good thing. We will see sunshine last for a good portion of the day as well. There are some clouds to the southwest, even a little bit of a few flakes over by Sioux Falls. That may affect us later today. Here's a look. We will see that sun nice and bright and sunny here through the morning hours and into noon. Temperatures getting into the single digits below zero. So that is warming, going from, we were at 21 below in Fargo not too long ago. We're going to warm up to about 2 below. So that's almost a 20-degree difference. So we are warming. It's just so cold. It's still going to be frigid at the 3 o'clock hour this afternoon, with a lot of places around zero, some of us below, some of us a degree or two above. And we're looking at that wind. That's not much of a factor for us here today. Now, heading into tonight, that will pick up and that will help us out. But until then, we're just dealing with the sun, or hoping the sun will warm us up enough. And as we make our way into the afternoon and evening, we'll see more clouds develop. We'll see some areas where we've got a few flakes move through. Southern Valley would be the focus for that. If we see anything, it'd be flurries to a very, very light, thin coating. I'm not expecting much with this, but still don't be surprised. And then heading into tomorrow morning, temperature is still below zero to start, but more in the single digits to teens below rather than what we're dealing with now. 7-day planner going to be pretty warm here by the time we get into Sunday compared to where we are now, into the mid-20s, and then we stay in that range in our next 11 days with 20s to some low 30s. Next chance for precip late Sunday night and into Monday.
Okay. Hopefully it's just a chance.
Yes. Right now, it doesn't look as intense as this latest round was.
Good.
So that's good. But, keep it in the back of your mind as you're making your plans for next week.
Yeah, it could be something.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. 7:52 right now. We are okay on this one. The Australian government said on Friday.
But today, on this time where it is 1 year since this illegal invasion, we again say to President Putin, stop this war now. Withdraw your forces now.
Apologies for that. We're just going to move on to our next story here this morning. After 294 days in a Russian prison, WNBA star Brittany Griner is back to what she does best, and that's playing basketball. Griner worked out Thursday night with members of the NBA's Phoenix Suns since the women's pro basketball season does not start until May. She was forced to cut her trademark dreadlocks due to them freezing in Russia. However, she seems to like her new, shorter hairstyle. Griner officially re-signed with the Phoenix Mercury earlier this week, shortly after her 1-year anniversary of being wrongfully detained in Russia. Next, coming up ahead here on The Valley today, we have information about the man arrested for murder with bail now set. That's ahead, plus Lisa Green is in with what you need to know for your forecast. 7:56, welcome back to the Valley today. A judge set bail at $1.5 million cash for the man accused of shooting and killing another man in Cheyenne, North Dakota earlier this week. Nicholas Poitras was the center of a 3-day manhunt after that shooting at Rindy's Cheyenne bar on February 19th. He was arrested 2 days ago after being spotted by a local farmer. Poitras faces 11 felony charges in Eddy County, including murder, robbery, weapons violations, and 7 counts of terrorizing. One man is in jail after allegedly making violent threats toward his wife and son while holding a kitchen knife. Fargo police say it happened Saturday. 2 teenage boys called 911 saying they had barricaded themselves in their bedroom after their stepfather made threats to one of the boys and their mother. The man was reportedly intoxicated and brandishing a large kitchen knife. Officers set up a perimeter around that home and eventually got the man to come outside. 45-year-old Seth Jastrom was then arrested for 2 counts of terrorizing. Lisa Green will have a check of your forecast right after this quick break.
Well, good morning. Intensely cold out there. We've got a wind chill advisory this morning until 10 a.m. It covers everyone in the valley and beyond. And taking a look at some of our wind chills, 42 below right now in Grand Forks, 45 below in Langdon. The good news is it's not super windy out there, so we don't have the blowing snow. And there are places where the air temperature is exactly how it feels because we don't have any wind. But it's bad enough. We're looking at wind chills that have been in the 30s and 40s, but air temperatures that are in the teens and 20s below zero. 19 below in Fargo, Grand Forks, Jamestown 24 below, Devil's Lake 26 below. Everybody's enjoying some sunshine though, nice and bright out there this morning. You'll need those sunglasses, especially with the glare off the snowpack. And you can see it's quiet. We will see some clouds push in for later today, and I can't rule out a flurry with those clouds. But until then, bright and sunny and staying cold today, a high of about 2 below in Fargo. This weekend, warming into the 20s by Sunday.
Okay, thank you, Lisa, and thank you for joining us on the Valley today.